From architecture to painting and sculpture, literature to live music and theater. Radio 111 presents Bonnie G and Brayan Mendoza with The Desert Scene, your connection to culture and entertainment in the desert cities. Here's Bonnie and Brayan.
And welcome to The Desert Scene. I'm here with the fabulous Brayan Mendoza, who is not only my wonderful co-host, he runs the board and he wears like 5 or 6 hats. We couldn't do it without him.
No, it's certainly not. And you wear 1,000 hats. You sing, you dance, you do everything else.
A lot of stuff. All right, we are so excited today to have our guest, Willie Rhine, who I met years and years and years ago in theater, and he has become the, I think, restaurateur of the desert. Hi, Willie. How are you?
I'm well. Thank you for that introduction, Bonnie. It's nice to speak with you.
And so I want to go back, first of all. We first met when you were running the Top Hat Playhouse. It seems like 100 years ago, but I guess it was, 24, I don't know, something like that. And I did Best Little Whorehouse in Texas, and it was great fun. So tell us a little bit about that, and then we'll get into your restaurants.
Well, now I jokingly say I get paid for running the show. So,
yeah.
Oh, yes.
Back then, as you know, we made no money.
Yeah.
The theater was a lot of fun. It was hugely successful. We did some really amazing productions. For those of you that might remember, Top Hat Playhouse, it was a 100-seat theater on Arenas Road. And you're right, Best Little Whorehouse in Texas was one of the large Broadway productions that we brought to Palm Springs. It was fun. We made no money.
Yeah, it was great fun and very emotional. We all got to be very good friends. But so then now, had you done any restaurant stuff before that, or was that just a brand new turn when you went from theater to restaurants? I've
reinvented myself several times. So I started as a server in a Scottish restaurant, which was part of a hotel there. So I'd done very little restaurant work. When we closed the theater, my friend, who happened to be Scottish, had recently opened a British pub called the Cheeky Monkey.
I remember that, yeah.
Which used to be on the corner of Ramon and Sunrise. Mm-hmm. So I would go there and drink a pint of cider a night and drown my sorrows. And she said, "Why don't you come and work for us?" So I became a waiter. And then from there, I was a waiter there for maybe about a year or so, and then went from there to Le Valeries and was at Le Valeries for 5 years, and then went from Le Valeries to manage Piero's Acquapazza at the river in Rancho Mirage when the river was hugely successful. Mm-hmm. So that's how my restaurant management career started, was at Aqua.
Now, but to be an owner, co-founder owner, that's a big risk and a lot of responsibility. So you started with 849, right? That was your first one.
I did. So my business partner, the co-owner of 849, John Pascal, came to me. I was operating Acquapazza, and we had just recently opened Lulu downtown. He came to me and asked me if I would be interested in partnering with him and open up our own restaurant. And we actually looked at a small restaurant called The Farm, and we began looking at some small spaces. We were actually in the old Thai Smile when we were meeting with the realtor to discuss the possibility of taking that over, and he just casually mentioned that the building for 849 was available. Mm-hmm. And I looked at John and I said, if we're going to do this, we might as well do it right and do it big. And voila, we opened up 849.
And I mean, you've been hugely successful. Was it a hit right from the get-go? Because boy, running a lot of restaurants don't make it. That is such a big undertaking and a lot of work. So was it kind of a hit right away?
It was. I helped the Kellers open Lulu. So that was also a huge success from the get-go. I built a reputation of providing great hospitality and good food, and people were really anxious to see what I did when I branched out on my own. And I think when we opened up 849, it not only looked like an amazing space, we provided great food, great service. So you're right, it was a huge success.
And the design is beautiful. Was that all you're doing, of the colors and it's gorgeous.
It is definitely not all my doing. I believe in teamwork. Both John and I agreed on how the basic look of the restaurant. The restaurant was inspired by one of my favorite restaurants in Mexico called La Leche, where geniusly, I just thought it was incredibly genius that the guy took some refurnished furniture and painted everything white. So I copied that. I thought it was just, rather than try to find lots of expensive tables and chairs, I just went to, it was shopping therapy for both John and I. We went to all the local consignment stores and thrift shops, etc., and bought tables and chairs, painted them white, added pops of fuchsia, and created what people describe as an Alice in Wonderland feeling.
Yeah.
So yeah, it was fun putting it together.
Excellent. Now, tell me, what is the secret? We'll get into your latest two restaurants in a second, but what would you say is the secret to having success running a restaurant? Is it basically surrounding yourself with the right people? Is that a big part of it?
You know, it's very similar. I use this quote often. It's very similar to running the theater. It's putting all the right people in the right places and putting together this production, which is called Going Out for Dinner. So it again, it's very much teamwork. I have the eye of Paul Brueggemann's taught me many lessons. He was the owner of La Valeries. He would walk around the restaurant every Saturday and look at all the smallest details. Unfortunately, I've become a mini Paul Brueggemann in many ways, where all the small details drive me crazy, and of course drive the staff crazy. So, I think the success is having the entire dining experience. Good food, good service, good ambiance.
And tell me how you dealt. I mean, the pandemic, of course, was so difficult for everyone, and businesses and restaurants in particular. How did you navigate that whole issue? And we're still navigating it.
We're still navigating it, but again, because I've been very much involved in the community, whenever anyone asks for something, I try to say yes. So, and I've done that all the way back to my Aquapazzo days. Back then, it was easier because I was spending somebody else's money, but it doesn't really make any difference anymore. Fortunately, we're in a position where we can say yes on almost every request. So when the pandemic hit, one of our clients, or one of our regular catering clients, called me up and said, "Hey, what can we do to help you and help the community at the same time?" And we came up with this boxed lunch idea. So we literally, we started one day a week. I put a press release out to all of our patrons and all of our, to all of the media, etc., letting people know that we were going to start feeding the frontline workers and the doctors and medical teams at all of the urgent cares and all of the emergency rooms in town. So for months, for almost a little over a year, every 3 days a week, we were taking out meals to all of the frontline workers. And the public knew that we were doing that. So they, in turn, everyone, I believe what you put out there comes back tenfold.
Absolutely.
I believe it all goes around. So while we're giving to our community, the community is coming back and supporting us. So we did get through the pandemic with grace and flying colors.
Yeah,
we're very blessed.
And that was a wonderful thing to do. It was great to see not everyone, but I would say a large number of people stepped up to the plate when the pandemic hit. And how can we help and make this and help each other? Yeah. Let's get into 1501 Uptown Gastropub. So that just opened a year ago?
We opened on February 17th. Last year, correct.
So
yes.
Tell us about how is that one different from 849?
So it's very casual. We have elevated pub food there, comfort food. So 849, we have a casual lounge menu, and I want to say fine dining in the dining room, and lots of private rooms,
Right.
and a huge patio. So 849 is very conducive to celebrations and weddings and rehearsal dinners, etc. 1501 is really it's your neighborhood pub per se.
Okay, and now let's talk about Willies. This is so exciting. So you're opening up Willies February 18th. It's the old Bernie's location in Rancho Mirage. Tell me how that came to be.
So again, my business partner at 1501 and Willies, his name is Chef Chad Gardner. He has a couple of other restaurants in town, so he also is well known in the valley. He came to me with both of those opportunities. They both sort of fell in his lap. He and I have been doing catering and events for the last 4 years together, so we work well together. He came to me and asked if I would be interested in partnering with him, and I said yes. So these opportunities sort of just fell in our lap. They were restaurants that were pretty much ready to go, but just almost turnkey. We just needed to add our touch to it. However, Willies, we actually, the kitchen is completely ready to go. We completely changed the dining rooms and lounge at Willies.
I was just going to ask you how is it going to be different for folks who remember Bernie's?
So Bernie's, obviously Bernie's, they designed it to suit the clientele that they had in their previous location, and they designed it for entertainment and sort of were going for that speakeasy New York cabaret style restaurant lounge, and it was, in my opinion, very dark. So I have picked. I took they had some black booths and things were closed in. We removed all the booths. We painted everything white. Removed all the dark flooring. So everything is now very Palm Springs, Mediterranean, sort of French bistro feel, bright, light, open, and very, very different for sure. Excellent.
All right, so you open now. Is officially opening to the public on February 18th? Is that correct?
That's correct.
Well, it's so exciting. Yeah. I am so happy for you, Will. I mean, what great success you've had in the restaurant business. And again, it's not easy. A lot of people fail. So congratulations. Best of luck to you. And I'm definitely going to be checking Willie's out. Absolutely.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you so much, Willie Rhine. Go check out Willie's February 18th. Thank you so much, and we'll see you next time on The Desert Scene.